You grew up in a family that was associated with part of the wilder part of the bike scene in Canada. Can you describe to us what that was like?
Well, probably uncertain would be the best sort of word for it. You could never really know what was going to happen from day to day. You know, you'd wake up in your morning and be eating a bowl of cereal, and then all of a sudden the police are at the door, knocking, want to ask questions. You know, things like that. So it was, in other ways, normal. You know, we'd go for picnics with all the guys and their families, and everything was great. But yet, there was always behind the scenes other things going on that you only talked about in hush whispers. So that's probably the best way I could sort of describe it. Difficult, but a childhood.
That blew up, unfortunately, when you were very young, and there was trouble at home.
Yes, there certainly was trouble at home. As I was saying, that sort of the normal childhood bit. One morning I woke up, like I do on every other morning, to step outside of my bedroom into the living room to find a police officer there who turned to me very quickly and said, "Son, you need to put some shoes on." And not knowing why, I looked down and there was glass all over the floor. Now, as the time went on, I learned and discovered that my mother's boyfriend had shot someone dead in our living room just the night before, and I slept through the whole thing, thank goodness. But he had, yes, as I say, I went to jail for that for a couple of years. But unfortunately for my brother and my favorite dog, Buddy, a week later, the family of the gentleman who was slain decided to torch our house in retaliation. And so my brother and my dog died in the midst of that. So this is what I'm talking about, that sort of uncertainty. You could never know what was going to happen each day. And
well, you became a Christian along the way too. How did that come about?
Well, as you could probably guess, the childhood not being a particularly good one, a mother not working and being on welfare, selling drugs on the side, we didn't have an awful lot of money in our pockets. And so to get us out of the house on Sunday mornings, my mom would send us to Sunday school. And so I got an experience of a lot of different churches, a lot of different Sunday schools, but in the midst of all that, a lot of really lovely and gracious people which adopted me, in a sense. You know, they looked after me, they encouraged me, challenged me as well, but also supported our family as much as they possibly could. And so in the midst of all that, while there's all this sort of chaos going on in the background, the love of God just sort of kept streaming through like a light breaking through the clouds. And finally, when I got old enough to make decisions for myself, it just seemed right. You know, that's the best way I can explain it, that God was sort of making himself available, and so I responded.
Have you found that relationship with God has helped you in your life, particularly dealing with the trauma of your childhood?
All the different trials and challenges that I've sort of faced in life, there's that, I wouldn't say confidence, but at least that assurance of knowing that I'm being cared for. And he has certainly proved to be there time and time and time again.